So first off, I'm gonna start by saying how the dance industry is the hardest to get into, to be well known and famous for. Um, I myself am a dancer. I've been dancing for quite a while now, and I brought this because this was the biggest competition that ever attended, and it was Hip Hop International. And the name itself is self-explanatory because it is international. There was people from Brazil and Europe and Africa and all over the world. They were there at this one competition doing the same thing that I was doing. So for me, it's hard to hear when people kind of, what's that word, like they just kind of throw dance to the side and just say, oh, it's just dance, because they don't really understand the struggles that dancers go through. So first I'm just going to give you basic history. Dance wasn't always competition. It was rituals like in Greece and Europe and India, or it was just for entertainment like in France, they used ballet. So why it's so important to me and why I consider myself in this culture is because when I was younger, I was really shy and I wasn't confident with myself. And when I started dancing, I gained a lot of confidence. Like I wouldn't have been able to stand here and tell you this at all. When I first started dancing, it was really hard for me just to go for it and just to take risks, because really that's what you have to do. You have to put yourself out there, and if you don't, there's always going to be somebody better than you or somebody that's willing to do it. The struggles that I had to go through was practices, because practices you have to go from morning till night, and training, it doesn't take just a couple of months. It takes years to develop this kind of training, and also the money that gets put into it, because I just recently went into this studio, and although it's a lot cheaper than some studios, it's $125 a month. So all this money that goes into one dream that you might not even have, because there is so much competition. For me, dance it starts off as a hobby, and then it goes and starts and it consumes your life. And it really does, because like I said, the practices are from morning till night. And more struggles is it puts a strain on your body. When I was training for this competition, I had so many bruises all over my knees. I pulled my hamstring and I developed water in my knee, so I couldn't even dance for a few weeks. And then once I was finished with this competition, it was the biggest accomplishment for me, because it was crazy for me to see that people from on the other side of the world doing the same thing that I'm doing. And I feel like that's why it's so important to me. So I gave you a little bit of history of dance and what it was used for and how it is now and how it's such a big competition now. And I told you guys why it's so important to me, because it builds my self-confidence and it gave me a little bit more strength to keep going and to push myself. And another thing is that, I've danced with a few teams, and I've trained in house, I've trained in ballet, I've trained in breakdancing, I've trained in popping and locking, and craft. So for me, some are really hard for me to do, and some I am better at, and I hope that you guys don't just kind of throw off dance as, oh, it's just dance. It's a lot more than that. It's about putting yourself out there and making yourself well known, because you really have to earn your respect in dance. Just like if you were to throw off somebody who's a football fanatic and just say, oh, it's just football, imagine how they would feel. So it's kind of the same thing for dancers, especially since they put so much time into it. And that's all.
Something she did well.
How she presented it was pretty good.
What's pretty good? What did she present that was pretty good?
Her voice projection.
Her voice projection was good. Okay, so what could she work on?
Try not to stop when you don't know what to say. I know that one's hard, but.
Okay, so my main concern was your organization. So why do dancers dance? Yeah, so we learned a lot about what you do, right? The point of all this is why. Like, why are you part of this culture? It's not, I'm in this culture because there are long practices, right? I love this culture because it drives it feeds my soul. I am passionate. The music moves me. It allows me to express myself. It allows me to be creative. It brings people together who believe in hard work. Because it's so hard to break into the industry, a lot of us don't dance. I'm not actually a dancer, I'm saying this. Like, a lot of dancers don't dance for the money or the fame or to make it on Dancing with the Stars, because most of us probably won't. It's something else that dance represents for us. So what is that, right? It's not like I do this style, I do this style, I do this style. Fine, that's your speaker credibility, that's in your introduction. The rest of your speech is about this culture of dance. Right? So make sure you're telling us those reasons why you identify with the culture and not what you do. That makes sense? Right? And think of your speech as a performance. Would you do this in your performance? No. The amount of preparation that goes into a performance is insane, right? Making sure your arm is an inch exactly the right place. Making sure it's exactly the right angle. That's what you need to think about speech.